It's 2025 and paid social media buying is dying. Or at least it's feeling like less and less of a full-time job. If you pay attention to really any kind of paid social updates from this year, you should be well aware that Meta has been rolling out a ton of changes, like removing manual optimizations, taking away targeting options, and forcing Advantage Plus. Campaign structures used to be detailed and nuanced, and now they look like big campaigns with broad targeted ad sets. Prospecting and retargeting tactics are now bundled together, and the way that you set up your campaigns are mattering less and less. Zuck said it himself. The basic end goal here is that any business can come to us, say what their objective is, tell us how much they're willing to pay to achieve those results, connect their bank accounts, and then we just deliver as many results as we can. In a way, it's kind of like the ultimate business results machine. So if you're in the Meta Ads platform, you know this is already rolling out. It's severely impacting our ability to affect campaign performance with media optimizations, meaning the skill of media buying is losing its value. And I've had clients come to me with unprompted concerns about the future of media buying. A brand that I was consulting with for a few months came to me and said that they don't trust how their media buying is spending their time because, quote, media buying just isn't a full-time job anymore. If you're a media buyer, you got to be honest with yourself. Does it feel like a full-time job? And if yes, how much of your time is actually spent doing revenue-producing activities? Are your managers starting to press you on how you're spending your time? These are questions you got to ask. Or maybe a better question to ask is how much control do you feel you have in driving performance? If a campaign is underperforming, what optimizations do you make? And how do you make them? In my opinion, these days, there's really only 5 main ways to improve your Meta Ads performance. 1, improve your data integration. So you make sure you're optimized for the right events, that you have a high event match quality score and high quality data flowing through. This is usually managed by a developer or an ad ops specialist. 2, improve the website to either increase motivation to purchase or remove the kinks in the flow. And this is usually managed by a conversion rate optimization specialist. 3, you improve your offer. And this is usually done by marketing managers on the brand side, as this requires a ton of cross-department collaboration, lots of number crunching and forecasting. 4, you improve your LTV through email, SMS nurturing, subscriptions, bundles. That's usually done by lifecycle managers. And 5, you improve your ad creative. As a media buyer, your ultimate goal is to drive paid media performance, but your ability to do so and have it being dictated by you, the media buyer, is less and less in your control. And instead, it's now being dictated by your peers more and more. So the locus of control is shifting externally. And I don't know about you, but I hate that feeling. And for this reason, I believe that paid social media buying is transforming into an and position. So you're a marketing manager who manages the overall program and does the media buying, or you do email marketing and media buying, or you do CRO and media buying. But the number one lever for improving your paid ads performance in 2025 and likely in 2026 and beyond is through your ad creative. Ad creative is the lever for performance, and that quote is everywhere. Really, if you look anywhere online about paid ads in 2025, you'll see a massive emphasis on ad creative being the number one opportunity. So if you're looking to leverage your skills as a media buyer, as someone who understands these platforms and how they work, knows how to test ads, evaluate data, and make decisions under the North Star of using your skill set to drive performance, my top recommendation is to consider shifting towards creative strategy. And I'm not just telling you what I think you should do. This is the exact pivot that I made as well. When I was starting to pivot, I was working for a huge 10-figure brand, spending $15,000 per day as a media strategist. I had 8 years of experience. I loved the work, but I could feel the walls closing in on me for all the reasons that I've already mentioned. I started to get my work done quicker, which meant more thumb twiddling, more sitting around. I also felt that my work was driving less and less of an impact, and I started relying on other team members more, and no, I did not like that feeling. So just like what you're doing now, I started researching on what my next move should be. I watched a bunch of videos, listened to a bunch of podcasts, and I started exploring creative strategy. And it was the best decision that I've made in my career. A year later, the company I was working for decided to lay off their whole US in-house performance marketing team, me included, which was the worst, stressful. But at that point, I was already neck deep in creative strategy. I had a portfolio already built out, and I decided to try my hand as a creative strategist and go for those opportunities. And to my surprise, I was able to bounce back very quickly and replace and grow my income. There were tons of creative strategy roles popping up, tons of creative strategy opportunities on Upwork and other freelancing sites, and the clients that I met were really latching onto my creative strategy chops. It almost seemed like my 1 year of creative strategy exploration was more interesting to them than my 8 years that I had in media buying. I also started to see a lot of LinkedIn posts from my media buyer friends announcing layoffs, struggling to get back to work. I started looking for media buyer positions and saw that the salaries seemed to dip, which sucks. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to skirt around this. And because of this, I'm now huge on pivoting into creative strategy. And I believe it's the #1 future-proofing skill that media buyers should develop. Okay, so what even is a creative strategist? Here's a blurb from Becoming a Creative Strategist. It's a PDF that Motion, which is a creative analytics platform, came out with earlier this year. They explain it really well, so I'm just going to read it off. The creative strategist is the connection between an organization's left brain and right brain. The left brain, analytical and methodical, is focused on data, KPIs, and ad performance. The right brain, creative and artistic, is focused on the innovations in writing and editing to produce an ad. Within your organization, a creative strategy is the bridge between the creative team and the media buyers. The media buyers root themselves in data and research to know what an ad needs to accomplish, but they can't necessarily pin down the precise messaging that will get there. Typically, a creative strategist leads a team of writers, editors, or illustrators. These are the creatives who form the messaging of the ad. But creative strategist serves as a conduit to the media buyers. That means strategists deal with both the left and right sides of the organization's brain. Ideally, a creative strategist can handle data and knows what made previous ads work so well. But a creative strategist should also be forward-thinking. They need to find creative ways to turn data into new ads. Ultimately, a creative strategist is a translator. They translate advertising data into actionable new projects. They translate insights into hypotheses to test with new ads. They translate a brand's goals into new ideas for the creative team to try. The role of the creative strategy comes down to how well they can answer these two questions. What do we do next? And how do we do it? So this is an overview of who creative strategists are and what they do. Motion broke this down into 2 parts, but let's break it down further into the day-to-day activities of creative strategists so we can better understand it in more detail. Okay, so this is a list of what those activities look like. For deciding what to do next, we can run ad account audits, looking at past creative performance to understand what has been tested, what hasn't, what is working, and what isn't. Customer research, that's discovering who to go after and how to resonate with them, and analyzing the brand's reputation. Competitor analysis, looking at competitor ads and ad accounts, reverse engineering their strategies, and looking at inspiring brands from other categories, reviewing and presenting performance on an ongoing basis, usually using an analytics tool to help with this. Okay, and how to do it. We have creator sourcing, recruiting, and managing creators, briefing creative teams like creators, editors, and designers, project managing the creative development process, creative supply chain, optimizing the process so it's smooth and repeatable at scale, managing a digital asset management system, copywriting, writing hooks, building storyboards, understanding performance script structure like building blocks, creative strategy foundations like personas and segmenting awareness stages, bringing in psychological triggers and understanding what trends and cultures you should tap into, and documenting your creative approach and brand learning. And AI tools can be used across everything that I mentioned in these lists to make your work higher quality and easier to tackle. And I'm also a huge believer in creative strategists having a strong understanding of media buying skills as well, and that would include skills like this. Understanding how to set KPIs, like target CPAs, generally understanding the platforms and features and capabilities, understanding account setup flaws that undermine performance, like sneaky settings and whatnot, bidding strategies like cost caps and bid caps, understanding events and EMQ scores, that's event match quality scores, understanding your media metrics, understanding your attribution settings, understanding the SOPs for launching and scaling budgets, and understanding how to test creative in a risk-averse and effective way. This is a lot. It's a big list. But if you're a media buyer or someone else in paid ad space and you're looking to future-proof and pivot into creative strategy, this is the stuff you need to learn. So I would go back, write out these lists, and then start tackling them. I highly recommend using a tool like Notion. I use Coda, which is very similar. You could even use Google Docs, but the idea here is that you're recording your notes, you're essentially building out your own playbook for how you approach creative strategy. The best way to learn this stuff is through YouTube and online courses. Some of my favorite creators are Dara Denny. Just met her for the first time last week. She's great. She has a very genuine mission of helping as many people as she can through creative strategy education. Barry Hott is also great, particularly with his approach to ugly ads. Savannah Sanchez is really good. I've attended a few of her virtual panel presentations. You can search around, there's a bunch more. I'm also going to be releasing content that dives deep into everything that I've mentioned above. It's going to be more specific to marketers trying to pivot into creative strategy. Feel free to follow me if you want to see that kind of content as I make it. And the other must for successfully pivoting outside of just learning the concepts is to actually put the concepts into practice and build out a portfolio. There's a ton of resources online on how to build a portfolio with websites like Squarespace and Wix. You can check out my site. It's brianmccready.com. I made it using Webflow with the help of a Fiverr developer. And for the portfolio content, a guiding principle is just make good work by any means possible, especially starting out. My progress looked like this. Free work for spec brands, so just make ads for brands even though you're not in contact with them. Free work for small brands, cheap work for small brands, normal pay work for small brands, and then eventually better pay work for bigger brands. This is a pretty typical path for freelancers. If you're going for 9-to-5 jobs, you should start applying as soon as you have good work to show. But regardless, it's helpful to have some experience with small brands, so you at least have some in-market data so you can speak to how your ads actually performed when you start interviewing. Full transparency, this might require that you invest some budget upfront, like paying for creators to make content for UGC ads or getting some help from editors with editing. But from firsthand experience, it's completely worth it. Ever since I pivoted towards creative strategy, I've had a much higher hit rate with landing freelance clients. I'm able to charge much more than I was able to as just a media buyer. And I'm overall a much more well-rounded marketer with skills that are way less likely to be gobbled up by AI over the next few years. At least, I hope. Who knows? But no, I really do believe that AI needs to be guided by someone who's higher level thinking, looking at the overall picture and guiding the strategy. So again, I think there's a massive opportunity for media buyers and other marketing roles like copywriters, even UGC creators, to pivot in the direction of creative strategy. It's more important than ever. It has a longer shelf life for outlasting the AI revolution. YouTube is completely oversaturated with videos around how to structure your campaigns. They're mostly media buyer focused videos. If you search Facebook ads on YouTube, these are the videos that pop up. And YouTube is very undersaturated with creative strategy focused content. So I'm going to try to help fill this gap. You can also look at the other creators that I mentioned, check out their stuff. But if you're interested in watching my content, give me a follow, comment down below around any topics you specifically want me to cover. Feel free to share the channel with other people. This video is about why you should care, sort of a call to arms, I guess. But all my other videos are going to be diving into specific creative strategy skills with the mission of helping you future-proof your career through creative strategy.